This is one of my, I'll just go off leash for a minute, if that's okay. She's one of my encyclopedia people. Do you ever have someone like that, like they know everything about a particular thing? And you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. And so she's a nutritional biochemist. Okay, so you're thinking heady, you're thinking labs, but she's also a health coach. And she works with essential oils in ways I have never seen anyone work with oils before. And every time I was saying about one of my speakers, well, you know, she's shy. She's like, we have an oil for that. And she says that about a lot of things. And she goes, let me check my emotion book and I'll tell you which oil will work for that. So I'll read the official one now. I'll be good. She's Lorri Lockyer, and she's helped hundreds of women achieve mental clarity, hormonal balance, reduced belly fat, increased energy, restful sleep, and live at a joyful weight through her science of health system. Lorri is a nutritional biochemist, which means she has like master's degrees in chemistry and all those things that we just barely climbed through, if you're like me. And she's a certified John Maxwell speaker and coach, competitive bodybuilder, and author. Learn more about working with her on her 1-minute video on her website. And I just want to welcome this woman that is so well-rounded and grounded. Please help me welcome Lorri Lockyer. Thank you. Lorri, let's give her another big hand. Have you ever had one of those days where your body has a different agenda than your mind? Your body's saying, I'm tired, I'm achy, I'm expanding, I'm hot, I'm cold, I'm hot, I'm hotter, I'm still hot. Your mind is saying, I have a list of things to do today. Body, work with me. I need you. There's times where there's a disconnect between the mind and the body connection. And this happens because of our body chemistry. As Cynthia said, I'm a nutritional biochemist. I love studying what goes on in our body, and I think of it as just one big chemistry equation. So when someone may say to me, you know, what's going on? It's my chemistry. That's just the way I am today. It could change in about 5 minutes. My goal today is for you to understand a little bit about what's going on in your bodies. When I talk about body chemistry today, I'm going to be talking about hormones. Can anyone relate to those? We're going to be talking about inflammation, and we're going to be talking about emotion and moods. How many of you would like to be in control and master your moods? Yes, there's an oil for that. There's also some foods we'll look at. So what we're going to look at today is I'm going to give just a little background on what happens to our body physiologically when we get stressed, when we react to stress, I should say, because it's not like stress is going to leave our lifetime anytime soon, but our reaction to stress is what we have 100% control over. And we're also going to look at some foods that increase inflammation and cause our hormones to go wonky. We don't want to eat those foods, or we want to try and keep them to a minimum. And then we're going to look at foods and essential oils that actually naturally balance our hormones. How many of you would like to know if you're eating the right foods and your hormones are actually being balanced? This was very, very insightful once I realized this, and it changed my life. I'm 53 years old. I'm in my second year of menopause, and I rarely have a hot flash, sleep all through the night, and the belly fat is greatly reduced than this expanding belly that just came out at menopause. And I looked down, I thought, where did this come from? And then I figured it out. So let's go ahead and jump into looking at what happens to our body when we get stressed. So whether it's an emotional stress, so you're just thinking about something like it hasn't even happened. Someone cuts you off and you're in the car and you go on this whole conversation in your head, and of course that person is long gone and has no idea that they had that effect on you, but your brain is telling your body that you're stressed. Or it could be a physical stress, whether you're running from lions, that could be your kids or husband or coworkers, or if you are just working out too hard, you can actually cause that release. So your adrenal glands, which are located right here, both sides, they're going to release cortisol and adrenaline. The adrenaline's great because it's going to keep you going. You can multitask, you can push through whatever it is, but that cortisol, a little bit is okay, but when we're constantly releasing cortisol, it does some things to our body that are not good. For one, it shuts down our digestive tract. People that have inflammatory bowel disease and other intestinal tract is usually due to chronic stress and that chronic cortisol release because it just shuts it down. When our gut gets shut down, it also depresses our immune system. Have you ever noticed if you go through a stressful time, you tend to get a cold or get sick? So the gut shuts down, it shuts down your immune system. When your gut and immune system get shut down, it also pretty much shuts your brain off. At least it gets very foggy up there. And so here we are in the state of we're trying to press through the stress. Our gut's really not working, our immune system's not working, and our brain is just really not helping us at all because we keep going back into the bedroom and we can't remember why we went in there. What was I going to get? I'll go back out. I'll figure it out. So in order to keep it all working, I really wanted to go through that just to raise your awareness. So to give you an example, I used to get road rage really bad. So I would be driving along, and someone would cut me off, and I'm just on the horn, and I may drive by them and look at them. And then I would go on with this conversation in my head. Now, I'm driving along, someone cuts me off, I'm like, oh, they're in a hurry. La-di-da. Someone almost hits me because they're texting. I'm like, oh, just be a defensive driver. Hopefully they won't kill anyone. But I don't let it bother me anymore. And I realized that once I stopped letting people have free rent in my head, do you let people have free rent in your head? Yeah, that's a big cortisol releaser, so just stop that. And it has really helped a lot. So let's go ahead and jump into the foods that balance hormones, because this is really important. And at the end, I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to say, Lorri, I want your notes. So if you don't want to take a lot of notes, you can just say, Lorri, I want your notes on the little handout, and I'll be happy to send them to you. So this is interesting. Foods like lentils, chickpeas, garbanzo beans, hummus, those will help balance your hormones if you have a healthy digestive tract and you're taking probiotics. Just out of curiosity, who takes probiotics on a regular basis? I love this crowd. Yay! So probiotics are needed in order for those foods to be fermented. Once they're fermented, then they have that natural hormone balancing effect. So every day, looking for those types of food. And I travel a lot. You should see me in the grocery store. I'm like, lentils, chickpeas, where are they? Where are they? They're usually not on the menu when you go to a restaurant. Some other ones, organic soybeans. Now, this is important. It needs to be organic and whole soybeans. No iso soy or soy isolates, none of those. And if it's not organic, you run into the problem of it being genetically modified or having other pesticides, which just cause your hormones to go totally wacky in the other direction. Flaxseed, linseed oils, sesame seeds, and sunflowers. All of those are really good, and they also have omega-3s, which really help your body also. Okay, here's my favorite. I have to confess, I love kale and spinach. If I don't have it every day, I feel deprived. There are people that like chocolate, kale and spinach. So the greens, kale, spinach, microgreens, those are wonderful. Brussels sprouts, broccoli, and even carrots are really great at balancing your hormones. The other thing with the greens that is very important, and I learned this when I was in school, is when you metabolize estrogen, and we're metabolizing estrogen all the time, there's two pathways that estrogen metabolite can go down. So it can go down a good pathway, which is great, hormones are happy, or there's a bad estrogen metabolite. And they call it the bad one, and this is when you don't have those greens in your diet on a regular basis. Those bad estrogen metabolites go on to form breast cancer. And they also cause estrogen, what's called dominance, which causes the swelling belly and kind of pear-shaped. But a study that they did looking at women with breast cancer, 96% of them had a high percentage of bad estrogen metabolites. And this can be measured. It's a blood test, so it's very easy to be measured. I had it measured at one point, and mine was high. I was not eating those greens. I changed my diet, and 3 months later, I tested again, and I only had 10% of those bad estrogen metabolites. So it is something that you can do to influence how your body chemistry works. This is a metabolic pathway that's really, really important. So right now, I want you to turn to your neighbor and share what your favorite green vegetable is. Okay, I'm going to bring you guys back. Okay, ladies. I love it that you're so excited. Okay, so let's get into the foods that cause inflammation. These are foods we definitely want to, if you're eating a lot of them, start reducing them slowly. They may not be able to be cut out of your diet immediately, but try to reduce them as much as possible. The first one shouldn't be a shocker: white sugar and artificial sweeteners. No pink, what is it? Blue, yellow, yes. We don't want any of those. No sucralose. Be sure that you're looking at your labels. Stevia is okay. Raw sugar, again, in proportion. Again, too much omega-6. So if you're looking at different oils and foods, we love foods that have omega-6, but omega-6s have a pro-inflammatory part. So they actually create inflammation. That's part of their job. So there are certain vegetable oils, processed foods, of course, fast foods. Nobody goes to fast foods here. No. Good. Margarine, yeah, get rid of that one. Certain chips, because there's hydrogenated oils in there. And then, nuts. Nuts are great, but you don't want too many of them. So almonds, cashews, hazelnuts, peanuts, pecans, pistachios, they all have omega-6 in them. So I'm not saying that you should not eat them, but just not a whole bag. So just have a handful. That would be good. They're good fats. And then also white bread, whole milk, alcohol, bummer, moderation. And then, of course, MSG, anything with high fructose corn syrup, be sure to look at that. And then looking at the omega-3. So we talked about that earlier. Omega-3 fatty acids are good at balancing hormones, but they're also great at reducing inflammation. So if you find yourself inflamed, having the oily fish like salmon, trout, tuna, mackerel, and then the oils, flaxseed, soybean oil. Now soybean has 3 and 6s, so again you can have a little bit of that. Canola has 3, 6, and 9. It's one of those more balanced ones, but you don't want to be using it all the time. And walnuts are great in omega-6, but they need to be soaked in water first. You're going to digest them a lot better if you soak your walnuts, and almonds even in water. So the last thing I want to talk about are essential oils. And I love essential oils because of they're a gift from the earth. And the way our bodies respond to essential oils is incredible. One of the best ways of balancing hormones, whether you're still having your cycle, whether you're going through perimenopause, or whether you're in menopause, is with essential oils. And again, using them depending on what is going on in your body chemistry. Being in menopause, I have to use the balancing hormones twice a day. And that keeps the temperature lower, helps me sleep through the night, and I'm much happier. So some of the balancing hormones: clary sage, lavender, bergamot. Bergamot's one of my favorite ones because it also just makes you feel good and gives you that self-confidence. Roman chamomile, ylang-ylang, geranium, fennel, and there's an oil called Vitex. All of those oils are in a blend made by doTERRA called Clary Calm. And it's one that you can come over to the table and definitely check out. It comes in a roller bottle. And with that type of blend, you're just basically rolling it on one ovary, across your tummy, over the other one. Because you have all these estrogen receptors in your lower abdomen. So you really want to get the oils there, and that really helps. So today we looked at really what you can do to address the stress and remember your reaction to that stress. Essential oils also come into play to help you just breathe and calm down. And then we talked about the foods that can balance and the essential oils that can balance. Brandy's going to hand out a handout right now, and it's really my gift and my goal with all of you is to be able to stay connected. In January, I'm going to be coming out with a book called Making Sense of Your Body After 40. Don't we have someone who just turned 40? Yes. So the book will be out in January, and all of the things on there, you can kind of just check off how you would like to stay connected, if you'd like to hear about the book. If you would like the notes from today, just make a little note on there saying, Lorri, I want your notes. And I can easily just send those to you. But I am grateful for Rebecca for giving me this chance to share what I am so passionate about. And for all of you for sharing your favorite green vegetable. That was awesome. Gosh, that just made my day. So thank you so much. I don't know.
We don't have time.
We don't have time.
But you can certainly ask her a question after she gets off at the break time.
Yes.
Great. One more round of applause.
Thank you. Awesome, Lorri.
Great. Wasn't that awesome, knowing how to balance your hormones? And we have an oil for that. Wow.